Do you think that like singers that blow up today, like, okay, so you've been on The Voice and American Idol, and then you tried out for one other one. What was it called?
It was called Alter Ego.
Alter Ego. I think, did it flop? I don't know what that
I actually don't know. I watched like the first episode of it that was ever on. I know there was at least a season of it. I don't know if it's still on or not.
It was just one season.
One season.
Okay.
Yeah. That show was different. It was like kind of like you have an avatar, and your avatar is like out on the stage performing, and you're behind a curtain. Yeah, and you're behind a curtain with like the motion detectors on you and a camera and whatever, and like it was like I didn't make it to that stage where I was ever behind the curtain doing all that, but like I had friends that made it to that, because when I went to that show, that was after the other two shows, and so when I went, two of my friends from Idol like happened to be there.
Oh, really?
And so the whole time we were at the hotel, we would like be hitting each other up to like hang out and whatever, and so that was fun. But
did you make more friends on the Idol or The Voice?
Probably on Idol. When I went to The Voice, I was 16, or no, yeah, probably 16. And so when you're a minor on those shows, your parent has to be with you.
Sure.
So my mom went with me, which my mom definitely like, she tried to get me to like go out and do stuff and like, hey, everybody's down at the pool. Let's go down, and like at that age, I was like kind of more of an anxious. Like I didn't want to like go do all that.
Yeah, you're scared.
And so I went and did like some stuff, but like I made a couple friends. I met this one girl, AJ, from Florida, and I still like to this day here and there will talk to her.
Okay.
And that was, like I said, when I was 16, she flew up here from Florida and stayed in Lincoln one time.
Just
like
to
a
hang
couple
out with
years
you?
ago. Yeah, to stay with me.
Oh, wow.
Like maybe, probably like 4 years ago now. She came and stayed up here. But yeah, like, and then like a lot of them, like we still like follow each other on like social media and stuff. But The Voice, I definitely don't stay in contact with as many of those people as Idol, but I've watched all their, careers and which is cool.
Yeah.
But Idol, like I have like a good few people that I still like. I mean, not as much as it was right when the show ended, obviously.
Yeah.
But there's still definitely people that like I'll check up on here and there. They check up on me, and we all follow each other still and whatever. So
yeah, and everyone's probably trying to do their own like shit on social media, like pushing out TikToks.
Yeah.
Is everyone still trying to make it?
Most of the people that did Idol with me are still making music, and like a lot of, I mean, not a lot, but like there are a good number of people that were on my season of Idol that like have made it. Like
Really?
A lot of, especially like the like TikTok group of like the younger people that are coming up on TikTok
they
right
know
now.
How to use TikTok.
Yeah, like like Lauren Spencer Smith, Natalie Jane, there's like a few other ones. They're like really big on TikTok, and I mean they're big in general now, but mainly started on TikTok. But they were both on my season of Idol, and then like this season, like Lauren's going back to be a like guest performer on Idol, and
because she's gained so much fame on TikTok.
Yes, and when we were on, and she was a contestant 5 years ago, and so like a lot of people are still, and like I went and saw. Two of my friends were like coming through on tour. They were in Kansas City, I guess, but I like drove to Kansas City and saw like two of my friends were on a tour, and like, I mean, we're in Kansas City and they're from California, and we're in a full bar of people, so definitely like a lot of people that have kept pursuing it past that,
So which one do you prefer, or like which one would you go back to?
The Voice or Idol?
Yeah.
Definitely Idol. I just think like The Voice, like we were there for a long time, first of all. Like when I did like one interview, we were there for a month. And so like when you do your blind, and there's more interviews before that where you're there for a week or you're there for a few days or whatever. But like your main audition when you're finally seeing the judges and doing the chair turns and whatever, like you're in LA for a month. And like as a 16-year-old, my mom had to take off.
Was it during the summer or did you have to take off school?
It was during the summer, but I feel like the last little part of it might have, or no, there was an audition before that where I had to miss a week of school.
Okay.
The one where I was for a month, that was during the summer. But there were some kids that weren't from Lincoln, that like from other states, that they were still in school. So they would go to school while we were at The Voice.
Oh, wow.
They have like, and Idol was the same way. Idol was during the school year. I was out of school, but the kids that were still in it, they'd have to go do class for like a certain portion of the day, like all together. And so,
What?
yeah, it's crazy. So, but like The Voice, like, yeah, like my mom had to be away from, like, she had to take off work to go with me.
Shout out to moms.
For real. She's a real one for that. And like, she was away from my dad, my brother, and like, that was hard.
I bet.
And
yeah.
we had to stay at the hotel the whole time. We were like, they call it like sequestering. So like, you can like leave to like go across the street to get food, or like you can sign up to go to like Walmart in a van that they drive.
You have to.
Yeah, because like they'll wait till there's like 5-6 people that need to go, and then they'll fill the van and take you all. And so like
they're like trafficking you to Walmart.
Yeah, you're like going around, you know. So like
Is it like a white van with tinted windows?
No, it was like some fancy minivans,
Oh,
like the newest ones
Honda
that
Odyssey?
you know. Yeah, I don't know what they were.
Yeah.
They're nice. The drivers were happy to be driving them, and so we'd go to Target or whatever, and like because you have to get stuff. You're there for a month.
So they don't let you leave.
Yeah, because I think they're trying to keep like the secrecy of like you're there for a blind audition, and like there would be like people from like magazines trying to like leak like names of who was there. So like I've been on 2 leaked lists for The Voice and Idol.
A leaked list.
Like if you look up my name, like
a magazine.
Yeah, like random, because like I Googled myself after I was on those just to see what popped up, and like when I Google myself, like if I scroll enough, there'll be like leaked 2020 or whatever Idol contestants, and then there's like a list with like all my friends' names and my name and whatever on it, because people try to like figure out like who's on the show before they do auditions.
You're generally unknown before you go on Idol.
Yeah, like and especially like The Voice, like they're trying to keep that a secret because it's like the blind auditions, like you know. So, but like there would be people, like I remember there was somebody, like one of the times there was somebody in the elevator like asking one of my friends like, oh, what are you here for, blah, blah. And we had to like say we were there for something else. Like,
really? Damn, so they really have you on lock.
Yeah, but like Idol was a lot more like, as long as you're like representing the show in a respectful way. Like when we went to Hawaii, or like
you still could go to the beach.
We could go to the beach, and we could go to the store, and we could go. I went and got a tattoo, and like we could go do whatever. And like I came back from getting a tattoo and showed the producer, and he was like, "That's tight." Like what, you know, they don't care that you're out doing your own thing, but you got to be responsible and show up for your rehearsals and interviews, and because they tell you what time every morning you got your stuff going on, and you got to be there, you know. They flew you out there, you got to show up.
So I mean, I can see why you would like the Idol better than The Voice.
Yeah, it was a lot more fun just with the like freedom of it, and I feel like there was a lot more, I mean, I don't want to say like freedom in like what my image, but like I guess my image was more like not as it was more of an afterthought on Idol, where like I was kind of coming in less, like I could just come in whatever I was wearing that day and we just go. The Voice is more what you expect for a TV show. You're doing makeup and wardrobe and whatever, whereas like Idol, you're not doing any of that. You show up in what you want that day, and
so The Voice was very much like scripted, you'd say?
It's a TV show. You know what I mean?
It's like reality TV almost?
It's not scripted, I wouldn't say. It's like you never got a script, but
you put makeup on, like they have people doing you up.
They put a lot of time into that production of your blind audition and your whatever, you know? Whereas, I mean, Idol does too, but Idol, like you can definitely, I don't know, like Hollywood Week, I just remember I packed a suitcase, and every day I'd pick a new outfit out of my suitcase, and that's what I wore, and they didn't question it. You can't do logos, like, because it's TV, so no logos.
No Nike,
and
everything.
That's basically like your guidelines. Like, show up with clothes with no logos. Yep.
Interesting.
Your shoes are fine, but no like big T-shirt or hat logos or whatever. And then you wear what you're comfortable in, and like that was cool. And like I think I definitely I liked being older. I mean, I went back to that 2 years later, so definitely had like a lot more freedom on like I wasn't with my mom. I was out. I had to talk to people because otherwise I was just gonna be sitting there like by myself like a weirdo, you know. So like it was like kind of forced me to get out there and talk to people that I probably wouldn't have like gotten out there and talked to before, you know.
Yeah, that's good.
Which was nice.
Let's focus on the Idol, or actually let's focus on The Voice, because you did The Voice before Idol.
Yeah.
So you made it. How many auditions did you have to do before you made it to the actual hotel in Was it Los Angeles?
Yeah. So that's where when you're doing your final.
When you're
final
actually
audition,
walking out on the stage.
Chair turns. That's
chair turns.
Yep. That's in California.
So you made it to that point.
Made it to that point. That's when I didn't get a chair turn, but I was still there for a month doing that. So then there was one before that where I went to LA for a week, and it was like a few months before. It's a long process. Like you spend like half a year getting ready for, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So there was like a couple months before that you do another one. And then I think before that I went to Chicago. I did one in Chicago. We made like a family trip out of it.
Are there like judges on the auditions, or is it just one person who's like listening?
It's multiple. It's like 2 or 3 like producers.
Okay,
it's
so
not
the
the
producers
judges.
of the show.
Producers
Are they
of the
recording
show.
you too? To like,
I can't remember. I guess on The Voice. I know on Idol there was one where I specifically had to like take one on video. And like whatever, I can't remember on The Voice like now, but I'm guessing they were. Now looking back on it, I think they review all that stuff.
There might have been a hidden camera.
Yeah,
in the room type shit.
but like I was more focused on I just being so nervous. Like I walked in and was immediately focused on the 2 people sitting in front of me. Like
sure.
But I remember I did one in Chicago.
That's the one you had to take a week off to go to with your mom.
Yeah, and so like I went. Well, my whole family went to Chicago with me. That was like a 1-day audition, or no, 2-day audition. Because there was like a normal audition and then a callback. So I think that I did 4 auditions, including the blind audition that time. But so like sometimes you get like casted for a show. So like a producer will hit you up and be like, hey, I found you on Instagram. Come be on The Voice.
Right.
And so like that show I didn't get casted. So I went all the way from open calls to the end.
Wow.
So, but Idol, I got casted. So somebody hit me up
Probably
and was like, we heard you.
We heard you. We know you've been on The Voice.
Yeah, I think she said she found me on Idol, but it could have been, and so she hit me up and was like, so she hit me up and was like, I found you on Instagram, and was like, like you should come try out, whatever. And I was like, yeah, for sure. And honestly, at first, like getting a DM, like you should come try out for American Idol, I was like, I'm getting scammed right now. I was like texting my parents.
You were getting scammed?
Yeah, because I was like texting my parents, like there's no way. And then, because I didn't know they did that. I didn't know they like casted people.
Yeah.
And so
it makes sense.
Yeah, and so then once they like hit me up and whatever, then that one, I don't know if I got to like skip an audition, but I never had to do any like I went to like I immediately went out of state for that. Like I went to I think Chicago for that one too, for Idol. I went to Chicago. And then there was like an audition for a couple producers. Had to go into another room. A couple more producers. Made it. Went to my actual audition after that with the judges. And then Hollywood Week and then Hawaii.
Huh. So when you're on the stage on The Voice, what song did you pick?
I did Make Me Cry by Noah Cyrus. But... So like,
wait, was this when Miley Cyrus was a?
This was when Miley Cyrus was a judge, and so I didn't pick my song. So
what do you mean?
Like you're nudged to sing a song. You know what I mean? Like
they want you to do a little Noah Cyrus when Miley Cyrus is the judge. Okay.
And so I sing a Noah Cyrus song, and I at that time
were you at least like comfortable with that song?
I fucked up because if I went back now, you have a band. And the band is amazing, and you spend that month off and on practicing with them.
So you know what song you're gonna sing for like a month.
Yes, and so when you practice, like you can tell the band, I want an acoustic version, or I want this, or I want that. At the time, I wasn't thinking about any of that. I was like, I'm going to sing the song the way that the band plays it. And that's, because I was so young.
You had more control
I
than
just
you
went
thought.
in. Yeah, exactly. And so I went in and did everything that they were kind of doing. And now looking back, I would go in and be like, hey, can we do like a piano version of this? Or because Noah Cyrus, like that song especially, and like a couple of other ones, they're over like these very, like, animated beats. They have a lot of like sound effects and things like that going on in them, and like the band was doing all of that on like
takes away from your voice,
and it does. And
sure.
I'm used to. I'd never played with a band before. I had only done my guitar before that. So then to have this electronic ass band coming in behind me, like I definitely would have done it differently now and done like an acoustic version. And I love making songs different. Like when I do covers, I love making them different than what they originally sound like. And so I wish back then I would have just like went with my gut and done that.
So was it like they give you a list of songs that you can choose from?
They give you a list of songs and you, if I remember right, you like rate them on how comfortable you'd be singing them. Mainly like your top 10, and then they kind of pick out of that. Idol, it's more you pick. And like a couple of the rounds, they'd give you a list of songs that are like cleared.
Yeah.
Because you can't sing everything on TV if it's not cleared. So they give you a list of stuff that's cleared, and then you pick off of that. So it kind of depends on like what round, what show, you know?
Interesting. And you got but usually when no one turns, they still turn around and
they turn around and talk to you. I got to talk to all of them, got to hug all of them, whatever. It was cool, but
what was your main takeaway from what they said?
Well, so like I remember like Adam Livine said that he could tell I was like nervous and I just needed more like confidence. And then I remember like Blake Shelton just like kind of like backed up on that. Was like, yeah, I agree with him.
Yeah.
And then like Jennifer Hudson was the other one. She was like telling me a lot of like same thing, like confidence and like a lot of like encouraging, like you're just not ready, come back, and you know like that type of.
Yeah.
And then Miley Cyrus,
Did she cook your ass?
No, she didn't cook me, but she did talk a lot about her sister. I think just because it was her sister's song.
Yeah.
That it wasn't necessarily like anything that I could have taken away. Like she was like talking about how I sang it lower, but her sister sings it higher. You know, and it's not.
Yeah.
Anything that it's like
she just kind of just
it was just kind of it was kind of like a comparison thing. And so and like at the time, like I was so upset. Like I'm 16, I didn't get a chair turn.
Were you crying?
I've been there for a month. I held it in
until
I got off stage. Then I remember my grandpa was back. All my grandparents came and shit.
Oh shit.
And I get backstage and like Carson Daly's back there and he's like interviewing me and whatever. And my grandpa like gives me a hug. He's like, "You did good." And I just like was like started crying, just started bawling.
Yeah.
But on stage, that's why like I didn't want to even. I did want to talk to. Obviously, I want to talk to them. They're celebrities. They're amazing.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk to them. But like part of you're like, I just want to get off this fucking stage because people are looking at you. You're trying not to cry. You got these famous people in front of you talking to you that you've watched up growing, and like all you wanted or grown up watching. All you want to do is like cry and. Like, so I was just like standing there like,
how many eyes?
I just want to get off stage.
How many eyes do you have on you? How big is that venue?
It's not like the biggest thing I've ever, I mean like Idol was a bigger venue than The Voice.
Yeah.
But also like it was, I mean, it's like kind of like they're more like up, but if I remember correctly, they're up above you a little bit.
Auditorium.
Yeah, so they're like sitting around like the room like that.
Okay.
And then the judges are in the middle.
Yeah,
but like the main thing that you're focused on is the judges because they have this like crazy lighting on them.
Yeah.
And whatever.
Spotlights.
They're in these huge chairs.
LED.
And you know that they're on the other side of those chairs. So it's like I wasn't even paying attention to the like most of the time you're like terrified to sing in a room of people.
Yeah.
I was not worried about any of the 100 whatever people that were up in the top. It was more like I was just worried about those four. Like, you know,
you couldn't even really see those people.
Yeah, like
but how much of you was thinking about the fact that it's going to be on TV for like hundreds of thousands of people to watch?
I didn't think about it as much with The Voice as I did with Idol, just because I honestly blacked out at The Voice. Like when I went on stage, I remember thinking like I sounded weird because they have like monitors on the floor.
Yeah.
And like normal, and like I wasn't used to hearing myself out of like wedge, like the way that they were like set up so they're right at you. My voice sounded super loud. Anytime I had a voice shake or anything, like I could hear it so clearly.
Oh, your voice was shaking?
That I was like panic. Yeah, I was, and then I'd start shaking more, and I was kind of like panicking because I could hear myself too clearly that it was like freaking me out. That's all I was thinking about. Was like, and I remember like. I wasn't thinking about TV. I wasn't thinking about the cameras. Like I was just thinking, like I'm fucking this up. You know what I mean?
They're trying to. So for those of you that don't watch The Voice, the judges are trying to win the show. So like the judge,
yeah, they're like competing.
The judges are competing, and they pick the artist that they think can like help them win.
Yeah, like you're on a team.
So if your voice is shaking, they're not going to be confident that you can win the show because you're going to go on next time and you're going to sound nervous again. Yes. That's what they would think.
Yeah.
So like if your voice is shaking, that's a big.
Yeah, like they could tell. That was like the number one thing they said was like I didn't sound confident, which I was not. Yeah. Like I was 16. I'd never. I mean, like dude, growing up here, I'd never had any opportunity to do anything really. I mean, besides like play coffee shops.
Shows, coffee.
No, like I'd been playing coffee shops and that was about it.
And that's like 20 baht.
You know? Yeah, exactly. It's nothing. And so like to get into like, I think the biggest thing I'd ever done before I went to like Idol and The Voice was like a wedding. And and there was like maybe 150 people there, 200 people.
Yeah.
And then to go to that, and you're like, yeah, you're on TV and whatever. And like Idol, I remember like the most people that were ever in the crowd was Hawaii. There ended up they had 1,300 people come in. So that's the most.
Wow.
That's the most people. Like there was like 1,300 people on the beach. Like you're like standing, your backs to the ocean, and they're all out in front of you. It was pretty tight.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
That was a really cool performance.
But the shaky, by that time you were confident enough to sing in front of
definitely.
that many people?
Yep. And like,
cool.
I mean, I was a little bit shaky still, but I think with Idol, I had made it through so many performance rounds that like by the end of Hollywood Week, I was a lot more confident because I had made it through 3 rounds already. That like when I got to Hawaii, I wasn't not confident, but I was sick, and so like that kind of
you were sick.
Well, not even sick. I guess
like
my thing was voice. Yeah, it wasn't even that I was sick. It was that honestly I talked too much. I got out there.
We can tell.
Yes, I got out there. I'm with all my friends. I start talking, and like we're in Hawaii. I'm doing whatever.
Yeah, you're chatting.
By the end of the week, I was just like not feeling good, had a sore throat and whatever. I still I sang and whatever, but definitely like I remember like that was like my main thing I was thinking about and like nervous about. It wasn't like a lack of like confidence in myself. It was more like I was like, I'm not sounding my 100% right now. Like that's not a great feeling to go into something
Idol
with.
is a little bit different than The Voice. Like you have like rounds. So you sang multiple songs at Idol.
Well, if I would have made it past the blind auditions, The Voice, I would have done more rounds. But I just made it farther in Idol. Like, because I made top 40 in Idol. Okay. So I like you make it through. But they still
never fucking aired you singing, did
they?
Yeah,
and there's like 3 other because there's
Are
like
there
3
any fan videos that anyone could find online?
I have one on my phone. It's on my Instagram, I think.
Okay.
I have I have that one, and then somebody like sent me one on Instagram one time. They were there at the resort, and they sent me like they were like front row. And that was tight.
That's cool.
And then one of the producers took a video for me because my mom couldn't make it out there when I did my audition. And so.
But she was in Hawaii?
No, she couldn't. She couldn't go out there. My dad and my grandparents came out, and then my mom had to stay back and work and stuff.
Yeah.
And so one of the producers took a video for her.
Nice.
So I have that and whatever. But
what song did you do for that one?
For Hawaii, I did "Bruises" by Louis Capaldi.
I've never heard of that song.
I pitched. I had a couple other ideas that like I wanted to do.
Does Idol let you choose?
They let you choose, but they definitely like at that round because you're like performing for an audience. They want you to do something like they wanted me to do something a little bit more like mainstream than the ideas that I had because it was like for a crowd.
Yeah, that makes
just
sense.
to help you get more like crowd interaction. I think
overall,
you know what I mean. Like they want
more like open to you.
Yeah, like you had
you
could do what you wanted to do for the most part, and like so that one I did, but like my audition, like I came in with like my 3 most like confident songs, and I got to sing those, and like you get to pick everything.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well,